Good morning, everyone. My name is Jemia. I am the owner and founder of Fit Your Life into Your Life. It is a business to help women, specifically moms, fit the dream life into our real life. And it is a way for us to rethink motherhood. So that it feels enjoyable. And one of the things that causes parents stress is getting our kids to learn um, money at a young age so that they can manage it when they are older. So I'm going to go ahead and share my PowerPoint. I think I can do that. Hold on one second. Actually, I don't know how to get it to come up. Sorry about that. Here we go. Okay, give me one second. Let me start my PowerPoint.
You just click the share screen.
Yes, I had to find it. It was on the small screen. Okay, so here we go. All right, are you all set? Can you see this? So family, our family currency is the way that we teach our kids money. So here's my family. I have 3 kids. I have 3 very different children with different learning styles and learning, I have one of my kids with a learning kind of like disability. I don't want to call it a disability, but it is harder. She has gaps. It's really difficult for her to learn and understand. And I have a kid who is who picks things up super quick. And then I have a toddler. And all of them have very different goals, right? So for my kid who struggles to learn and really understand money, I was like, how can I get her to get the concept of money? Quarters, pennies, all of that was kind of getting stuck in her head and was becoming difficult, but it was more about the concept of money and what it means, because the kids will see you go to the store with a credit card, swipe credit card, no concept of where money comes from, what it does, what it means, and how it will help them in the future. And so in order to hit all of my kids' needs, I came up with the idea of letting them have a family currency. And so with the family currency and with teaching kids money, sometimes you have to decide for yourself, is the idea of money itself the important thing, like teaching them the dollars, the cents, the how to count, or is teaching them the concept more important? So for one of my kids, the concept is the most important. One of them, it's really the dollars, the cents, and what to do in the next level, like investments and how to build wealth. Then you create the structure of support, roles, and responsibilities. And so we created a family currency, and then we decided what our kids needed to do to earn the money, right? The family currency, what do you need to do to earn this currency? And how do we as parents build it into our lives so that it becomes simple for us, and so it's not something that is heavy or that we forget to do or that becomes frustrating. And then the parent's role is to meet the kids where they are with their emotions, their needs, their feelings, and take away our emotions, needs, and feelings. So one of the things that I meet with parents about a lot, especially moms, is this idea that if they didn't have money growing up, they have money fear, right? And so then they get very stressed about teaching their kids about money. They get very tight with money. It becomes like a contentious conversation because it's we have to save, 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 right? Or there are the parents who are like, I work with parents who are really new to money. So it's we didn't have any money, so I spend, and I don't really know how to save money myself. And I have no idea where to start to teach my kids. And so we really have to look at our own feelings and responsibilities with those. And so when we're thinking about our kids, if learning to count, if math is difficult, it might cause them to shut down. And so this is another way for us to build something in for our kids where they don't shut down, but they start to love to learn and love to learn about money. You want to question for the kids their roles and responsibilities. Like, what are their personal goals? Like, what are the goals that your kids have? Is it that they want to buy a new toy? Is it that they really want to go to a summer camp, a sleepaway camp? Is it that like they really care about grades? Like, what are the goals for your kids and what do they care about? And how can you merge um, the learning about money with the goals that your kids personally have? And then can you meet your kid where they are and set up a system for them to be successful in this? And that is where, so when I'm starting with counting my kids, it's just about counting, right? As my kids get into first, second grade, when they're starting to explore money at school, then I start to question, how is this going? Is this something that is easy for you to pick up? Is this difficult? Is this concept something that you're excited about? Is it not? And that's where I start to meet them where they are in our house and try to reinforce what they're learning in school. And then I question how I can set up the learning space at home um, to make it so that it is enjoyable but easy for them to access. Okay, so how you do this and how I've done it in my home is I just take scraps of paper. No big deal. I just take like a random scrap of like, here's a piece of paper. I rip it up. It's very simple. And I have my kids like name it. So we call them feathers. And that's something that I stole from working at a school named Phoenix. And so we call them feathers in the house. And each scrap of paper is assigned $1 amount. It's like very simple concept because all of my kids can count. So we give it the name. And then we set up the way. So if we're going back to the structures, the routines, we set up the way that they can learn and earn the money, excuse me, so that they can earn the currency. So again, 3 different kids. The toddler's not really in it yet. But for my older kids, they each have something that they need to do that is very specific to them. So one of my kids really struggles with like remembering to do their routine, hygiene, take out the garbage, like some chores, specific things. And so per every day that they do that correctly, they get a family dollar. And then there are bonus things, if they get a great report card or the teacher calls and says they did something great at school, I'm like, oh, you did something great. That was 5 points or $5. And then also when I catch them being good, right? Like catch them being excellent. Like we in our family really try to enforce telling the truth, being honest, being kind. So if I see them like, oh, you shared with your sister, or oh, you told the truth when it would have been easier for you to lie and try to keep the lie going. So I'll give extra points, or I'm sorry, I keep calling them points, but like extra dollars for that. For one of my other kids, like she's very into sports and like sports are her thing. So all of her dollars are related to sports. And she has a particular goal that she wants to go to dinner with mommy. So she has a particular amount of dollars that she is saving up for dinner with mommy. And then you create a list that can be purchased. So again, you can do this any way that you want. So I have one kid who has like 10 things that they came up with that they want to earn: TV time, cell phone time, a shopping spree. So like $50, 50 of these dollars amounts to a $10 shopping spree. What is it, like an extra movie? You get to pick family movie night, just things that relate to her. My other child just wants the night with mommy, right? And so that's all she's saving up for. And then I just collect them. So I rip up paper as they do the thing. I sign my name on it so I remember what it was for. I like to write down what they did well. It's like a little note. I give it to them. They save it. They have their own little like currency box. One of them has a currency box. The other one has like, I'm saving the dollars for them. And why this works is because for one of my kids who is still struggling with like the concept of money, the fact that they have this in their hand, even if it's little scraps of paper, they can count out themselves and say, I want to watch TV today. All right, that's 5 of these, 5 of our feathers. But I also want to buy a book that is $10, right? So I have to now reason out, do I feel like watching TV today, or I'm this close to earning my book, right? So should I do that, right? And then they get to grapple with that decision themselves. But that's what we grapple with as adults, right? It's setting them up to start thinking critically about money, about savings, about what matters, about wants and needs. My other kid, she just wants this specific thing. So she's just working on saving, right? She just wants to work on saving instead of spending, spending, spending. And then we get to have conversations about that. Like, well, are there things that you want? Because what happens if you just save your money all the time? Do you ever get to do other things, you know? Um, and so that's how you get to meet the kids where they are, just with the exact same system and some scraps of paper. So I truly believe that kids don't need to know how to count money. They'll get there, right? They will get there. The school will get them there on how to count money. But if we can really give them the foundation of how money works, even down to like the more hours you put into doing something, or the better you are at doing something, typically the more money you can make doing that, right? You do things correctly, you tell the truth, you be a good person. In theory, this should work out to you being able to meet the success that you want. But also really getting the critical thinking skills of how do I want to reach my goal? Because I think that's the thing that gets in the way for a lot of adults, is like they were never truly taught how to set goals and how to put wants and needs in categories so that they get their needs met and can hold off on the wants until they can actually achieve that goal. So here's the order of operation. The kid needs, they bring you a new idea, they have a personal goal, and you're like, cool, let me help you meet this goal. The role and responsibility is you let the kids know how they can earn the money and what it is that they need to do to earn the money, and where, and what you will do, and how you will give it to them, right? So for me, because I was getting mixed up every day, I just was like, y'all get paid on Friday, that's it. I'll count all the money on Friday. um and then you set a pay period and have them create a space to save the money. So one of my kids has a box, another of them has a jar. I hold the jar. I have a space where I pay them. I have like little slots where I pay them, and I let them put it in their particular spots. And then you help them prioritize. And these are just conversations when they come to you and they say, "Hey, I'm ready to trade in my money for TV time." You say, "Oh, okay. Are you sure?" Like, cool, that seems like a wise decision. Or like, are you sure? Because you told me that you wanted to do X, Y, and Z, and you're this close to doing it. And I think you could do it on Friday if you save your money, right? And these are conversations that make it easy, and they can say yes or they can say no, or here's how I've thought about it. And you can start to like really see what their thought process is. Okay, and then here are the things that I've learned just while doing this. I made it up, but then I have a signature or something that avoids like them making up their own, right? Because it's just scraps of paper. I like to recycle, but I sign it and try to remember like here's what here's what I did or wrote, so that like it's not a forgery. Um and I only use one form of money. So what happened was, at my daughter's birthday, she got actual cash, right? She almost like didn't know what to do with herself with the cash and the family currency, and then it like deflated the value of the family currency, and then she stopped doing the things that I was trying to reinforce, like thinking about saving, she was just spending. And also thinking about how she earns the money in the house, because again, we're tying this back to behaviors that we want to see. Um, And so instead, when she got the money, I was like, you know what? Give me the money. The real money, I'm going to save in a bank account for you when you're older. But I'm going to give you $10 worth of, which would have been 50 feathers in our currency, 50 feathers. And then that helped her say, oh, okay, cool. I can do this. Now I can go back to saving and the critical thinking, but it was too overwhelming with two sets. Um, Set of rules about when the currency can be redeemed. That is helpful. So it's not like 10 o'clock at night and she's like, can I watch TV now? I'm like, no. Like if you want to turn something in, I have them do it before dinner. And the rules around forgery and honesty. If I find forgery, then their whole bank account is wiped. Because again, in my family, we're trying to reinforce honesty. And then tools for the kids, I have them write their goals and keep them visible, just like what it is that you want to buy. One of my kids also wants to buy Christmas present for all of her sisters. And so it's like, okay, so that's a goal. I'm going to help you figure out how to strategize to get to that. They create a bank. I just gave them little boxes and they create a bank and they feel good going into their bank. It's like, because the other piece of it was like when you give kids cash, I don't know about you all, but when you give kids cash and they don't understand the concept of cash, the cash gets lost, right? They drop it, they lose it on the street, whatever. And I'm like, well, this is a problem I can quickly solve by just giving them pieces of paper. If they lose it, that's a lesson. It's like you've lost your scraps of paper, but we haven't lost real money. And then it still again helps them think like, well, how should I hold this? Where's a place that I can put this where I don't lose it? How do I save my money? And they're responsible for their cash. I don't put it in their bank. I don't put it in their wallets or wherever they're holding it. I give it to them because there's power in being able to hold your own like money in your own currency and saying you have control over this and it is your responsibility. And they really take ownership of it. And that has truly helped them feel empowered in what they're doing. And I've seen an increase just an increase of responsibility for the things that we have equated to earning cash. And like I said, it's anything. It's like, oh, we caught you being good, caught you being excellent, or it's tied to like true work ethic things that just like allows them to meet the need and meet expectations and feel like they're validated. And it's like a clear, almost like point system for them or behavior plan. So if you have kids that you struggle with, like they don't listen or they're really struggling with like doing specific tasks, this is a great intervention. And so that is my presentation. I hope